And it's Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio, a special edition live. So much happening today in college football and Army football. We thought we'd do a little wrap up. If you have a question, feel free to enter, and we'll try to address any questions that you have. But let's just kind of run down all the news that happened today. It's really unprecedented. I think the only comparison is March 10th or 11th when college basketball shut down. And the day began for Army. They were practicing this morning. They got a good workout in at the academy. And we had a chance to talk with Sandon McCoy and Dean Powell and a newcomer, Jackson Powell. And we have a couple of those interviews up on the page. We'll have the interview with Sandon up very soon. But a lot of good work being done by the team preparations. And we talked on Friday to quarterback Jabari Laws, who's coming back from an injury, but looks to be ready to go to lead the team this year. I'm kind of interested to see if it's a bit of competition with Christian Anderson, who held his own very well in the Navy game last year. It will be a senior, hard to imagine, at a Cardinal Spellman in the Bronx watching his career. Glad we got a few people watching. But the start of the day was that Massachusetts, who Army was going to play in November, canceled their season as an independent. I think they were going to kind of follow UConn. UConn also an independent, now having left the America Conference to join the Big East, primarily for basketball and other sports. It kind of leaves them adrift for the time being. Probably a good rival for Army year in and year out, but they canceled. And today, Massachusetts canceled. And then we heard that Rice, who Army was scheduled to play in September in Houston, was deferring the first two games of their season so that they would start later in September. So they were moving their games against Houston and Army into possible open dates. So we'll see what happens there. I was kind of concerned about the idea of Army going and playing in Houston with the COVID, such a hot spot in that part of the country. But in other news, of the big schools, the first thing that came out today was that the Big Ten confirmed that they are not going to play this season, and that's a big change. They're really one of the leaders in college football. What they do, they're probably the biggest money conference and TV revenue, and so their presidents met and they confirmed that they're not going to play this season. Now, a couple of their members did not go along with that. Nebraska and Iowa voted against it. I believe it was a 12-2 vote that was publicly released, and they in Iowa and Nebraska are looking for places to play if it's possible to possibly play in the Big 12, which suggests that Nebraska may look at the Big 12 as more than just a season. We all remember the great years they had playing Oklahoma Thanksgiving weekend. What a traditional rivalry that was, and it's not been the same for Nebraska since they joined the Big Ten. Someone wrote today about their being on the fringe of the Big Ten, being in further west. So we'll see what happens with them. And with Army looking for games, you never know what could happen with Iowa and Nebraska. And I'm sure Mike Buddy today, with the loss of these games, with the probable loss of the Rice game, the definite loss of the UMass game, down to only 10 games. 10 games canceled, 2 games on the schedule, the Tulane game and the Navy game. We say that because the Air Force game is in question because the Mountain West Conference canceled their season. So Air Force wants to play, but they're effectively an independent, just like Army if they want to play. So they've got to put together a schedule or ask to join a conference themselves. Conference USA has an opening because Old Dominion has canceled. And there's some other openings. And so we'll see what happens with Air Force. but we know they want to play. The question with them is, what if they put a schedule together, play the commander-in-chief games in the fall and in December, and then the Mountain West says, okay, we're playing football in the spring. We're going to play our full schedule, or at least conference games. Can Air Force play 2 schedules? And I kind of doubt it for a bunch of reasons. But that's a question that's going to be out there. So what else? We have Middle Tennessee State. Army has not announced it, but they did. Middle Tennessee State on their website, and their reporter stated that they had come to an agreement with West Point to play the opening game of the year in September, either the 4th or 5th. So it could be the Friday night or it could be Saturday at West Point, and then West Point would return the favor and go down there and play sometime in the upcoming years. One of the challenges for West Point is it does not look like they will be able to have spectators at games this year, unless New York State changes its rules. So Army would play the game and not generate any fan revenue, but then go down there and pay the expenses to play in Tennessee in a couple of years. So that's a factor. So we'll see what West Point decides to do. Mike Buddy and team, Dan McCarthy, and really a great management team in the athletic department at West Point. You can have a lot of confidence they're going to put something together that's going to work for the academy, for the players, and one of the things that you can count on is there's no better safe health conditions or safety health protocol than West Point has put together. We actually sat in on a presentation last week that General Darrell Williams, the superintendent, gave to the Board of Visitors, which is kind of like their trustees, and described the intricate and comprehensive tracking that was done so that it could bring the cadets back for all classes, for graduation, for summer training, for our day. One thing I would like to say is General Williams said they tracked every county in America that a cadet comes from, approximately about 500, and they knew what the COVID situation was, tracking the statistics very, very carefully. So there's no one who can do health and safety better than West Point can, and I know the other service academies can do as well. The other thing that was interesting is West Point said that they were drawing on experience gained from their bases in Army bases in Italy and in Korea, as well as all of the defense military health resources, which are very extensive. So Army still has to get an exemption. This is something on the quarantine requirements in New York State. This is something reading the Syracuse press has been a big deal. Syracuse has been petitioning that that they can get the same travel opportunities and their visiting teams can that the NFL has been granted for the Buffalo Bills and that Major League Baseball has been granted so that they can stage games in New York. And so no word on that. Apparently the state was waiting to see how the colleges did when they opened, if they could handle that, having students back on campus safely before making a determination on athletics, which really makes it difficult when you're trying to plan what's going to happen for your athletic teams. And so a lot happening. There's also the factor of the Department of Defense has restrictions on travel just for the normal travel transfers and non-essential travel across the country from base to base, pretty similar to what the quarantine restrictions are that New York has set up. So we'll see on that. But we know the players want to play if they can safely. I know we'll try to talk with Jeff Munkin tomorrow if he's available, or one of the administrators, and see what they're thinking. But right now I think they're just trying to find a way to put a schedule together that is substantial and competitive and gives them a chance to play the Commander-in-Chief conference games. We can call it a conference, but it's one of the most special in America, the 3 service academies. But it's got a lot of configuring to do to figure out what Air Force is going to do to have a schedule. They're basically in the same boat as Army. Army has a close relationship, maybe you could say, with the America Conference because Navy plays in that. So we'll see what happens there. The other question in their mind is to allow a switch to the spring. And again, I think it depends on what the America Conference does, because if they play in the spring, we could hope that conditions are closer to normal and that spectators can go play at games this spring. And not, it's all conjecture right now. I wouldn't count on it. I think that's been the perception now. I think that's what the Big Ten and even the Pac-12 are thinking, that they have a better chance of playing in front of fans and spectators, a normal game day environment in the spring, than they can plan on this fall. We'll see. I still haven't really heard what the schools like in the Southeast Conference are going to do as far as spectators. Obviously, in the southeast part of the country is where the COVID epidemic has been been worse the last couple of months, certainly since July. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, that's our wrap up. We're watching it as close as we can. Safety for the players, coaches, trainers, equipment people, everybody at the stadiums is number one factor. But everybody would love to play college football, which we love to watch, and we know the players want to play if at all possible. They work, their whole careers, their high school careers, their college careers, move up chances. Like, think of the seniors, like some of the players on Army that have been able to move up. Some of the captains this year, Mike Johnson and Sandon McCoy and Amadeo West. Amadeo coming back from injuries as a number of the Black Knights. And to have a chance to go out and play, and I know they want to have the chance. But then again, they have their Army officer careers to look forward to as well, which is a very valuable and vital service to our country when they go out to represent us as officers in the U.S. Army. So anyway, I can't see any of the questions on my screen just yet. I'm going to take a quick look, see if we got anything in. The first time we do this, we're going to try to do this more often, maybe on game night weeks, and try to work it out so we get questions. I'm just checking if we have anything before we go off the air. But no. But anyway, we'll try to do this. Maybe we'll do this a little more regularly and try to give you an update as to what happens. And we appreciate the support. But we're always so proud to represent the 2 million veterans of the American Legion. My dad was an American Legion member as a World War II U.S. Army officer. The Legion was great to him in his retirement years. Then made him a Grand Marshal of the Memorial Day Parade. And we think of so many fine veterans in the organization from all branches of service and all backgrounds. So we're very proud to represent the American Legion. Also, our organization, the Sons of the American Legion, which we are eligible for because our fathers served in the military and also were members of the American Legion. And we have 350,000 members around the country serving America's veterans. Great to see the work done by a lot of our squadrons and posts, bringing meals to hospital workers and helping people in need in their communities around the country during this unprecedented epidemic. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy our reports. We're trying to keep a close eye on what's going on. But I think Mike Buddy and his team will put together a competitive schedule for Army to play this fall. Just give them a little bit of time to work out. It's also working out the contracts. They have to contract with each game and handle a lot of situations that haven't been handled before, and a lot of change that could happen even between now and the start of the season, hopefully Labor Day weekend, but we'll see. Anyway, hope you are doing well. Hope you're enjoying our reports here on the West Point Football Report page. So for our group, which is based at American Legion Post 135 in White Plains and Squadron 135, this is Ken Kraetzer. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.